Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another live stream with Allie and Dan. It's Friday, January 6th, and Bryan Kohberger, the man accused in the University of Idaho quadruple murder, is our main topic this evening. Bryan has been extradited from Pennsylvania back to Idaho, where he was served the highly anticipated arrest affidavit on Thursday, January 5th. This has blown the case wide open as we, the public, have learned more details about this gruesome crime. In tonight's live stream, we are sharing all the facts we've learned collectively and any and every theory that you've heard. If you have a story to share it with us and we will discuss it this evening. Without further ado, let's get this important discussion started with Allie and Dan broadcasting live from their van in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hello,
good evening,
everybody.
Van Fam.
Has everybody else been as on their toes and glued to the news as we have since everything
Call me Elmer,
came out?
because I've been glued.
Okay, Elmer. These past few days have been wild.
Yeah.
Imagine what we could have done with all of this information a few weeks ago. I think they've known, obviously, a lot of it for a while, but now we are just getting to uncover so much.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out over the next, I want to say probably months, maybe even years, but we'll see. Hopefully not that long. Well, I'd say months. But let's jump into chat first, babe, and see what everyone's up to and who do we have in the house tonight. Before we do that, guys, if you could just tap that like button to let us know you're here, and let's get the party started. First comment is David Strausser. He's throwing out theories already. I love it. Let's read this first comment. The roommate
is just now coming out that she had seen a man dressed in black wearing a mask who walked right by as he exited the back sliding glass door, and yet she said nothing until now. See, I think she may have said something to the cops and they asked her to keep it quiet. I think... Don't you think?
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
They wanted to keep a lid on all of it for their own purposes. So I think that all of this stuff is not just coming out, but that is also just my guess.
Yeah, that's very interesting. We got Patsy Johnson in the house. David, I admit this is strange. Roommate claims he went out a back door, walked right past her, and she locked herself in her room. Also stated dog barking, woman crying, and a man saying it's okay. That is just creepy. That was one of the biggest revelations for me.
It's so weird. It said in the affidavit, I believe, that she even believed she knew which one of the girls was crying.
That's so weird.
Not the one in the couple. Not Xana, so I believe it was Maddie she heard crying, Maddie Mogan, and that was what she, but then he walked right past her and walked out the sliding door, and she was able to lock her room. Why not call the police right away? Like that, somebody dressed like that is...
I don't get it. David's definitely, he's got something. There's some weird stuff here. There's some weird stuff that we've learned. We've got Jay Lee saying, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Hey, that's fair. We keep it civil, but you can disagree. We keep it civil, but you can disagree in this live stream, in this chat. We know how plugged in you guys are. We know how connected to these cases you guys are. So that's why we love jumping on here, chatting, and hearing all the different theories. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's all just interesting, and everybody is basically, a lot of it is still speculation as well, and people are sharing their theories. That's why we're having this, because we're bringing to, the table new ideas and things like that. So, some of these things are facts, or that they say they're facts. I haven't read the 19-page affidavit word for word, but
Well, if it's in there, that's what the evidence they used in order to get the arrest warrant.
Yeah.
We have Margaret Coxhead in the house. She says, hey, everybody, I'm in the house. What's up, Margaret? We got Amy Sunclades, the one and
Hi,
only.
Amy.
What does she say? I completely agree with you. Okay, this is an early development here in the live stream. Amy, who we know is plugged in and very connected to the details, says, I completely agree with you. They may have right guy for doing it, but something is off with the roommate.
Well,
Wow.
What I think is interesting is that either this guy was really dumb to not cover all of his tracks, or think that the political system, or the cops aren't going to find out how he didn't, cross all of his T's and dot all of his I's, like finding his trash and this and that. But there is something weird about, have you not gotten anybody else yet? And the fact that he posted that on Twitter, like, is he setting everybody up?
Guys, how's the quality? Because we're on the internet, but I was thinking about switching over to my phone. Is the quality okay of the stream? Give us a comment here. Is the quality of the stream okay, guys?
No, I mean, it's just, with all of the things that he did, it's like he knew the cops were going to follow him. And that is strange about the roommate, but maybe she was scared. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, let's jump in to see who is here. Brenda Bolden says, I'm here and he is guilty. I titled tonight's live stream, Did He Do It? I mean, I personally think he did do it. I know David Strausser, some other people are saying there's some questions here. Amy saying there's some things that don't add up. I definitely agree. The roommate thing for me is so bizarre.
Well, I read that, a guy, if he was on a mission to kill somebody, maybe he didn't see her, and maybe he was just so focused on what he was doing that he needed to get out of there, or maybe he didn't feel like he had the time to kill more people. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just, yeah.
True Greenbeard says, "Stop! Are you in a sauna? No, we're in a van.
This is our cabin cozy van.
Why did he take the trash from his car to a neighbor's bin at 4 a.m? Police retrieved the trash, which led to arrest." Interesting. Yeah, I heard a little bit of that. I haven't really dived into that. Another late-breaking thing today is this right here.
This is wild. I didn't see this until later on today.
Whoops. So Bryan Kohberger changed license plate 5 days after student slayings. So I don't know what to make of that. I didn't even know I didn't know changing your license plate was even a thing. But the thing is, like, part of me was like, well, is this guy, he's a criminology major, is he some, like, genius? Is he, like, doing a crime that he knows he can get away with by doing certain things in a certain way? But then it's like, you had your cell phone on you, which pinged your location. You drove your car, which is identifiable. You left the sheath of your knife there, which had your DNA on it. It's like, the longer I stare at this stuff, the dumber I think this guy is.
Is he trying? That's the thing to me, is like, how do you realize? How do you not know that you lost the sheath to your knife?
Yeah.
Did he place it all there on purpose? Is he trying to do something weird and twisted with the system? I
gotta take care of business here, babe. We had a couple things come in across the wire. I want to shout out Amy Sunclades, sent you $50 for Let's Get This Party Going. That's a Cash App super chat. That's the first super chat of the night. That's a big way to start things off. Thank you, Amy. You're so freaking generous and knowledgeable.
Yeah. Amy, what's your you think that he did it, but what are your thoughts on the roommate, or what else do you have on her?
And then, of course, right on top of Amy, it's Shelly Fitzgerald, $4.99 super chat. I made it. Party up. So that's another horn situation. Thank you very much, Shelly. So yeah, guys, we just want to hear anything and everything you guys have.
Chained license. Wait, we need to learn more about this license plate because I didn't read that whole thing.
Okay, let's jump into the comments here. Carrie says, book smart, common sense, stupid.
Okay, yeah, he probably didn't realize he lost the sheath. Okay, one channel said plates came due. Yeah, maybe he was waiting until they were... Maybe he was waiting until they were
new
due to be...
You don't get new plates for a car. You get new stickers.
Get new stickers.
Maybe he didn't realize he lost the sheath. I mean, probably.
That's possible. Your blood, I mean, I would assume...
what a dumb idiot,
after you've committed a crime like that.
Kametta's in the house. She says, hi, Maya. You are so cute. Guys, Maya Moon is here for this super chat. Sponsored by Shelly and Amy. We're going to jump over to Super Chat Cam before we get into Amy's comment here.
His car was plated in Pennsylvania and he changed it to Washington.
That's the one time you would change your plates. Okay. Whoops. I need to go to Super Chat Cam. No, not there. Hold on. We're having some issues with Super Chat Cam. We got all sorts of cams here, guys. Let's see what we got.
Moon, are you going to be a detective one day?
We are loving getting back into talking about these investigations, guys. We are fully bought into being a channel that takes you guys up close and personal. This crime happened on November 12th, 13th, and that was literally a week after Moon was born. So unfortunately, this one did not work out for us to go to, but I can promise you we are going to be taking you guys up close and personal to doesn't even have to be a crime. Big news events. We want to be a channel that people can go to and get a different look at things compared to what you might see on the news. Because I feel like I'm always searching. I want more, and I always get that on YouTube. So we want to contribute to that. Okay.
Okay, I made a whole list of
Diana
things
says,
to
I
bring
don't
up
understand
today.
why the roommates are a problem. I don't know that they're a problem. I think the roommate thing is just... saw a masked guy in all black in your house.
Why didn't you call 911 immediately?
Why did he just walk by you and not kill you too? And also, why did you not do anything? That's, for me, the roommate thing. This B says, I finally made a live. What's up?
Welcome.
Amy Sunclade's plugging us in here. The sheath was left between the two girls in the third floor.
So either he dropped it or he placed it there on purpose because he's up to something else or something else that we don't know. But my theory with the roommate is that right now, I personally, unless somebody has a better idea, I personally just think that she got very, very lucky and fortunate and that she wasn't on his radar. Like, he knew that the other two...
Amy wants to do a call-in, sorry.
Yeah?
We want to have you on, Amy, so I'm going to figure that out right now, and then I'll get you on here right now, so one sec. But, babe, sorry, keep talking. I just had to...
No, that's just my theory about the roommate, and, she describes that he was wearing a thing, but it just doesn't make sense that you wouldn't call immediately. And I would be terrified if I watched somebody walk out of my house like that. And I'd probably go check on my roommates immediately. Like, yeah, I'd stay locked in my bedroom until the cops got there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay, let's see here where I can do a little lemon upgrade. I just have to upgrade my eCam.
So Bruce says this guy is as creepy as Brian Laundrie, for sure. It's, I don't know. I find him... Yeah, I mean, this is so twisted. Who can murder 4 people? So, okay, there was some more things that came out on the affidavit that was really interesting. More things that we could have looked into as a whole, I suppose, that they kept secret for a while. And that's cops doing their job. But you guys saw, obviously, that he was pulled over twice because they were looking for marks on his hands. Because somewhere, once upon a time, it said that one of the gals tried to fight back, or two of them looked like they maybe tried to fight back. And I'm assuming they didn't see any scrapes on his hands. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I'm able to bring on guests now. So let's see what we can get.
Okay. So anyway, so he gets pulled over. He gets to Pennsylvania. My question is, what do you think he's told his dad? And why, Amy, I have a question. Why would he change his plates from Pennsylvania to Washington, but drive all the way back to Pennsylvania? Or did you mean the opposite? That's such a huge drive. Nobody would drive home for the holidays like that. That's literally like almost coast to coast. Not really, but that's really far.
Okay, so guys, we are going to bring some guests on if it feels right, and I think right now with Amy's Sunclades it does feel right.
Okay, I want to read some more comments.
We will. Let me just do this.
So he gets back to Pennsylvania, and what's with the him putting the trash in the neighbor's trash at 4 a.m. and he cleans his car with gloves.
The whole thing is just so bizarre. All right, let's jump back into your comments. I've now got that
he had a scratch on his neck. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't even touched on the... So one of the biggest things I thought that's come out is that we know... I believe the FBI was obviously following him on his cross-country road trip, and he was stopped in Indiana by the police twice for going too close to the car. I think that was a targeted stop, and that was meant to happen by the FBI. What are your thoughts? What do you guys think in chat?
Yeah, targeted to pull him over.
Yeah, to see like what's going on. Oh, they wanted to get pictures of his hands. That's what it was.
Plate changing has nothing to do with this. Yeah, but his car was on the scene. So
no, I guess I get what David's saying. It's he just had to do it. It was just like something he had to do.
Okay, but it makes me think that he did it. He waited for it to be done on purpose.
Melanie says roommate might have been drunk and not sure what she saw till she woke up again. I mean, yeah, that might explain some of it. Jennifer Smith, don't name your sons Bryan. When you live in a party house, you learn to just go with the flow. I don't understand why she didn't call police. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. You would just kind of whatever. But if you saw somebody in a balaclava, was he wearing a balaclava? He said his face was covered, so I'm assuming it was some sort of balaclava.
Black face mask.
Why? And it was too far after Halloween to still be celebrating. Why would you not, even if you were drunk? I don't know. I may have just gone to bed like her if I was drunk enough. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Okay, let's see here. Has Maya pooped lately? That's from Dewey, a little off topic, but I wanted to address Moon is doing regular bowel movements now. I'd say once every 1, 2, or 3 days.
She's had 3 in the past week.
Yeah. Diana says, do we know she had her phone? I don't know that.
Maybe
I mean, I
didn't.
assume, college-age girl probably had her phone around, but who knows? Let's see here. What's going on? How many people? We got 97 people in chat. Maya is growing so fast. Jennifer Smith dropping a $5 super chat. I'll sound some horns there. What has she got to say? His sister was in a horror movie and the students got stabbed to death. 2011. Whoa. That's news to me.
Why is this all...
There's so much weird
so
stuff
connected
about this.
I mean, the Twitter thing, I can't get over the questionnaire he had on Twitter. Just so bizarre.
Yeah, it's
not Twitter, Reddit, sorry.
Yeah.
Please don't yell at me.
Okay,
parents all want the death penalty. Well, I don't really see that he deserves to live if he's
100%.
killed 4 people.
Idaho has the death penalty, 100%.
Yeah.
Bruce says, out the door and running to neighbors would be my course of action. I mean, definitely, doing something other than just going to bed.
That
think, to me is just the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Amy,
Especially if you said, I'm going to help you.
If you can check your email, I sent you a link. And you can do it on your phone or your computer or a tablet.
Can you hand me my phone, please?
You want your notes?
Yeah, so this other things that I wrote down from...
Flagged as a bar for aggressive flirting.
Yeah, okay, so you guys saw that he was flagged at a bar. Once he got back to Pennsylvania, he was flagged at a bar for aggressive flirting to the point where he isn't allowed to go back. From what I gather, I don't know if that's like stringent or whatever, but from the article I read, total narcissist for sure.
I just had a super chat come through. From Diana. That's Eye of the Storm Tarot. I saw that Diana said she wanted to come on. So, Diana, if you could shoot me an email.
My hair.
Right here, roadlifeblueprint@gmail.com. We can work on getting that set up. 2 days back was the movie. That's from Amy. Thank you for that super chat, by the way. $25, very generous.
Very generous. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll have to think.
Penny said something that I just find bizarre because I know this is what he thinks too. Apparently, he thinks he'll be exonerated. Okay, guys, we're going over to Moon Cam.
Sorry. Were you just really, really excited? Do you think he should be put behind bars?
I think we have Amy Sunclades here. Amy, can you hear us?
Hi.
Thanks
for joining. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can, loud and clear. Thanks for joining. So, give us your 2 cents. What's on your radar right now with this case?
Oh my God. So quite a bit of things. I'm hoping I can touch base with some things that were said in the comment section. The roommate situation. Okay. My thing is, I think they have the right guy. I do think he did it. I think he acted alone now, which I've changed because I used to not think that.
Sorry,
however,
you think he acted alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Now, and there's a lot more that they know that isn't on the affidavit. Obviously, they only need what's on there to get a warrant to arrest him.
That makes sense.
So
I feel like they put more than, but okay.
You think?
Yeah, and they've known about it for a long time. They've known this stuff. The roommate, her whole scenario, like they've known that, obviously. Yeah. And it even says in the affidavit, it gives a date when they talk to her.
Oh yeah.
My whole thing on that roommate though is she looked out her door 3 times.
Oh really?
For crying. Yeah.
Crying.
For crying.
That's crazy.
From Xana.
Yeah.
And a dog barking, which she knew was Kaylee's dog. So now Kaylee's dog was actually closed in Kaylee's bedroom, but Kaylee was sleeping in Maddie's bed.
Gotcha.
The sheath was found between the 2 girls in the bed, which tells me more than likely he was on top of them, stabbing them.
I feel like that was
I'm thinking he pulled it off.
Really violent.
Well, and I even seen today where I can't remember his exact, he used to be a criminologist and stuff, where he said that he believes that the 2 girls on the 3rd floor were killed first.
I think I definitely think that too.
Because if that's the situation and the sheath was between the 2 bodies, did he put the knife back in the sheath after he killed the other 2 and then took it off, and that's why it's on that bed? If so, there would be blood in it, and there wasn't blood.
Yeah.
So he took it off, killed those 2 girls, locked the dog away, and then went after the guy and the girl. My thing is, she looked out her room 3 times for crying and a dog barking.
Yeah.
Then on the 3rd attempt, froze because she's seen him in all black with a black face mask and she knew enough to give details to him having bushy eyebrows and that he walked toward her and then went out the sliding back door of the second floor.
Right.
Now, originally we all thought that the two that survived were on the first floor, and that's not the case. Her bedroom, the one surviving, was on the second floor at the end of the hallway, and Xana and Ethan's was on the side of the hallway. The others was in the first floor. So that means he had to be walking back going toward that hallway. And for her to know that it was a white male and that he had bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, I wonder
I
what
mean,
type of.
I don't know how long that hallway is.
Yeah. I mean, and
I
especially
mean,
at 4 a.m. or whatever time we think it was, you're maybe half asleep.
Yep.
People said maybe you're drunk. I mean,
well, and she had DoorDash delivered at 4:02 a.m.
So she was
seen him at 4:09 a.m.
She had I didn't hear that.
Yes, it's in the affidavit. Yeah, you've got to read that because it is full of so much.
Oh my goodness!
She had DoorDash delivered at 4:02. Wow. And I know DoorDash did come out and say that he didn't work for them, like that Bryan Kohberger did not work for them. So, but yeah, 4:02, DoorDash was delivered. 4:09 or 4:12, I might be off on the time exactly there, but that is when she seen him and at the end of the hallway, and he walked out the back door.
Yeah.
But then she goes back in and locks her door.
Yeah,
what's that?
So strange.
Well, just some people were saying maybe she didn't have her phone on her. If you know the exact time
I assume she had her
phone.
Well,
and getting your
and that's fine, but you just 3 times opened your door for a roommate that you hear crying, who you're naming as Xana, who has a bedroom right by you. You don't at least peek in there and see if everything's okay, or if the door's shut, you don't knock on the door and say, "Hey, is everything okay?"
A bunch of people in the comments are saying it was Xana that had DoorDash. So,
right,
but
that's what I'm saying. So then she was awake, and so then within 9 minutes of the DoorDash, that's when her friend sees the guy at the end of the hallway.
And
and if he had already killed the top 2, you've got a window of 7 minutes there?
When he killed Xana.
Yeah, Xana and Ethan.
Yeah.
And Xana was on the floor next to the bed.
So it wasn't.
And her phone was next to
DoorDash.
her.
Yeah.
Right. It was Xana. Yeah.
Xana. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
I mean,
did
DoorDash not see the guy?
I know, that brings in a whole other. I mean, imagine being that DoorDash driver where you are 9 minutes or 7 minutes, or you're delivering to a house where a quadruple murder just happened. I mean, that's just a trip. And maybe
and if you really think about it, if that's the case, which does make sense that the 2 on the 3rd floor were killed first, he was probably killing them when that was delivered.
Someone says Xana was on TikTok at 4:12. What does that mean?
The roommate in the affidavit, it's that now was a whole nother thing, is that so it was 4:09 that she seen the guy. She had heard Xana's phone, or according to Xana's phone, she had heard what she thought were sounds that she thought it was TikTok, because Xana's phone showed being on TikTok at 4:12.
Gotcha.
But she's seen the guy before that.
So how do you?
She what?
She saw the guy before that at like 4:02, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 4:09, I think. Because I think DoorDash was 4:02. It's like a 7-minute window. So no, he could have been killed or be killing the top 2, but to come down and do it within 7 minutes.
Now, let's go back in time. When do you think he arrived at the house?
I don't know. Part of me still says he was in that house
From
they got home.
Yeah.
And that he was upstairs. Because I don't know if you guys seen where Steve Gonzalez, Kaylee's dad, said that his daughter's injuries were not consistent with Maddie's.
Right.
So he felt she had more extenuating injuries. So he felt that leading, he didn't say it, but leading to the fact that was she the actual targeted person?
Right.
And so, was he waiting for those two girls to come home upstairs, had the dog, gotten the dog, put the dog in the door or in the room, shut the door, and targeted them? But then did he lay them in the bed? Like, that's still kind of all.
So
Mhm.
he could very well have been in the house for however long prior to them getting home.
Well, did it, the cell
Absolutely.
phone pings, and I know he turns his cell phone off while he's there. Does he,
Yeah.
did it say the time the last cell phone ping in the
First or
area?
and last, I wonder.
The time?
So that's another thing that's very weird about the whole situation. And I don't remember the exact numbers. I have it all wrote down, but I couldn't find my notebook. So, but his phone pinged all the way up to, I think they said it was 7 miles away from the home, and then it was done. But then, and it didn't turn on until so far out. So it pinged at the same tower. So they didn't that's why initially they didn't think of anything or didn't think he had come, but then turning off the location because it says in there in the affidavit, he returned at 9:03 a.m.
The
and
following.
his phone was on and it pinged at that location.
Yes.
That's insane.
By that location. Yeah.
They can't.
So
So did
he
he go
went back.
realizing I left my sheet there?
What an idiot. Like, no one's going to be around to notice the
So,
crime.
and that tells me he probably didn't see that other roommate then that came out. She said she was frozen. She stood there. He may have been just booking it to get out of there,
That's what I
and didn't see
that
her.
he just like bolted past her and was like, like didn't even think of it because he was so focused. I mean, you never know.
Quite strange.
And, and another thing on that too is, people were saying, did he just drive by there to see if there was police presence I want to see people doing,
Right.
checking out my work or whatever
Right.
type thing. But I think they said it pinged there for some time.
That is
So
bizarre. So
and
someone here
he's seen
says
on the
Yeah,
Go ahead.
404 was the CCTV.
when his car was first spotted and then leaving
Yeah.
at 420.
Yep.
Now, does that
And it did a 3-point turn
to go
because the
back
road is
the
a
other way?
dead end.
Yeah, to go
It's
back.
not a through street.
Right. Oh,
Yep.
man. So,
But his phone had pinged and was seen within 7 days previous, like 12 different times, I think it
right.
was.
That's another thing
Well, 12 different times from August something. So
Yeah.
he's been planning it out for a while.
So what does that tell
And
you?
on one of them, he got a ticket or he got pulled over for something.
Yeah, for not wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Bryan Kohlberger as a person? Do you think he's someone that is smart and is maybe playing a game here, or just a lunatic that snapped, a stalker of some sort?
For a little nap.
I would be really surprised to find out that this guy hasn't done something of some caliber before this.
That's what I think. I believe that. Sorry, you go ahead.
How do you go from 0 to 100,
Yeah.
in 7 minutes span or longer than that? Now they said that they think that he was possibly stalking the 3 girls, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie, but I'm leaning more toward it was Kaylee because she's the one that had the most marks on her, according to her dad.
Right. That's very
Um,
interesting. He just, there's something about him that he's got this kind of calm aura about him. He walks into the courtroom and he's got kind of a relaxed posture, and I don't know what to make of this guy.
Well, and I think he's more book smart and not street smart. He
Right.
didn't have a book in front of him, and they all say too, like, you can study criminology, you can study murders and all that stuff, but when it comes to do the act, you're not going to catch everything.
I know. Yeah.
Now, One thing I did want to comment, because I know you guys were talking about it, was the police stops, the 2.
Yeah.
So initially a report came out stating that they were not following him. That was seen on a Colorado, the license plate caught on a Colorado license plate reader. And that was after the whole scenario that all took place, which I can go back to. I have a thought on that too, but they were not following him. Okay. Then it came out a report, and I don't remember, I think it was Fox News, I think, did a report and said the FBI, that they were targeted stops. Well, then they retracted that yesterday after the affidavit came out. And there was on Ickadmel, he had a lawyer on there. And she said that's actually, hopefully, that they did not target him,
That's
even to
crazy.
check out cuts or anything, because if they did, the defense attorney can get all that thrown out, because he had not been Mirandized, he wasn't being pulled over to, like, for any of that, all of that could be tossed out. So any
Yeah,
cuts or anything
true.
that would have been
Oh.
seen. Now, my thought on it is that I do think it was targeted,
You do?
because if you watch the 2 videos, the very first video, the police officer doesn't go up into the window. He's more kind of at an angle, so you only see Bryan's head around his dad's body. You see his hand on his right leg.
Yeah.
The second stop, that officer literally goes all the way to where you get a full body shot of
Yeah.
Bryan.
He
And
totally
I
does.
think, and they're in 10 minutes away from each other, 10
I
minutes
know.
apart,
That makes no
for
sense.
the same reason. And I'm thinking they're like, okay, well, we couldn't see enough of him, so we need you to do it again.
Yeah. That
That's what
makes
I
no
think.
sense. I
But
know.
I
That's
think they retracted it because of that. So,
very, very good information, Amy. Thank you for jumping
yeah.
on with us. Great to
Yeah,
put a
no
face to
problem.
a name as well.
Yeah.
I
Thank
know,
you for joining
right?
us and sharing
We
with
get to
Well,
see
us.
your face all the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll be
yeah. And on
having
the
go ahead.
plate thing too, I wanted to bring
Oh
up,
yeah.
because they said in the affidavit about the plate switch. So when they first ran the report looking for that Awida Elantra, the police, uh, whatever he is, specialist or whatever for vehicles, they had given like 2011 to 2013, I believe is what he said
Yeah.
at first. And then they ran that report and they ran through those leads. Nothing had come back with plates for that area. So which tells me they must have had something, some sort of a thing, thinking it was that area of a plate
Uh-huh.
for that area. But then they had the guy came out and said, hey, we might be looking for it. Also could be a
Right.
2014 to 2018, I think. And then that's when it came back to Washington
That makes
State
sense.
plate. And the security guard at the at the college had made a statement that he came upon it, but it didn't have Washington plates. It
Uh,
had Pennsylvania plates.
interesting.
So
Very
then they ran that plate number, and it came back to Bryan when they went back to go watch or surveillance.
yeah, and then they could
That
connect
plate was
everything.
now Washington. Yep.
Very interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
So, but yeah.
Okay, well,
Anyway,
we're gonna keep plugging you into this on our lives because you're well connected. So thank you for jumping
well,
on
and so
with us.
David too. I know David Strausser's done quite a bit
David's
of
he's got some theories, doesn't he?
Houston. Yes, he does, and I'm not. I'm right there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you so much,
but
Amy.
all right. Yep.
We'll keep bringing you on. This was fun.
All right.
All
See you
righty.
guys in chat.
Here,
All
sorry.
right.
Wow, that was fun. I'm glad we got to bring Amy on. She's very plugged in. But I did want to jump over to some Cash App super chats that we got. First off the bat, we have Shannon Jackson going back to back with a what is it? $20.23 super chat. Happy New Year for 2023. Very nice. Thank you so much. Shannon and Ron Jackson, who we know are in San Diego. We always got to shout out San Diego. And then again, right after that, I got to throw this one out there. I'm going to see if I can decipher this one too. She says $7.77 super chat for starting the new year with an arrest. 777.
Yes, on Bryan.
And then we had one more. Thank you guys, Shannon and Ron. We appreciate you guys
very much.
And then we had, it's Deborah Larimer, who's always joining us on our live streams and always has been very generous with her super chats. So a $20 super chat from Deborah for peace and love. So give a little sound effect.
Yes.
Okay, so what did you guys... There's a lot. We talked about a lot with Amy. I feel like she cleared a lot of stuff up.
Yes.
Babe, where are you at? What are you thinking?
Oh, I mean, I know I touched on this briefly, but we haven't heard a lot from other people. But the whole thing of him going back to Pennsylvania and then putting the garbage in his neighbor's garbage at 4 a.m. and then cleaning his car out with gloves on.
Now, you're saying that happened in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, it's like we just talked with Amy about the arrests or the traffic stops for, I guess, tailgating, and someone said speeding too. So maybe they were different ones, but I could have sworn they were both tailgating. But anyways, those video, like Amy was saying, those video shots that they got were like, they seemed very specific. Like, we want to get a look at the guy. The one where the first cop is like nothing, you're just looking at the door, and then they're like, this isn't going to work, we need a second one.
Yeah.
So they stop him 10 minutes later. And then he gets to Pennsylvania, cleans his car, whitewashes the whole thing. Very interesting stuff. So I'm going to jump into chat here and see what you guys are saying.
So and going back to the timeline of him arriving at the scene and so on, I heard he was clocked arriving at the scene at 4:04, but then he was clocked at 4:25.
Yeah.
Back on the Pullman campus.
4:25 back in the Pullman campus on the night of the crime.
Or just back in Pullman. I don't know about on the campus, but back in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So he made a very quick job of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
which goes with,
we saw that the car was on CCTV at like early 4 a.m, but was he there before that? And maybe I don't know exactly how the cameras are set up and if they caught him driving or they just saw his car. I don't know, or he moved his car. But I'm guessing, I'm sort of leaning to maybe he wasn't in the house and he arrived at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
left.
so.
And it was a quick, we're talking like, what'd you say, 20-minute in and out job? I mean, just grisly attack. Bruce Crazy Kiter says, not all rosy in that household he grew up in. Bankruptcy in 1996 and again in 2010. So parents were struggling financially. Who was paying for Bryan's education? Great question from Bruce, and great facts from Bruce. 2 different bankruptcies. Interesting. Maybe there's more to
Bryan, or Bruce,
Bryan's past that has led him to commit a crime of this magnitude. Katie Kidman says you can see it in his eyes.
I would agree, Katie. I think he looks like he's totally twisted. His dad doesn't look that. His dad
seems
looks
like a normal guy
to me. But he seems disturbed. He does seem very disturbed. And I thought that from the very first photo of him.
Picking back up on what we were talking about last with Amy with the traffic stops in Indiana, I noticed that his dad was very conversational, just wanting to talk and say, we're going to Pennsylvania. Well, Bryan is like, we're going to get Thai food. He's like being very
trying to
weird.
Rush him.
And then the whole thing with bringing up the mass shooting in Washington State, which I didn't even hear about. He said like there's a SWAT team there on campus or something. And it's like, what a weird thing to just blurt out to a cop when you just got stopped. I guess for a second time. I don't know if that was the first one or the second one.
Yeah, I wonder why.
But that whole conversation where Bryan is trying to withhold information and his dad's just like, oh, well, we're actually going from Washington to Pennsylvania, the Poconos, and Bryan's like, we're going to go get Thai food. You know, it's just like...
I guess I don't really understand, though, still, why he's driving, what he told his dad, why he's driving back to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything with that?
That's a good question.
$4.50 back at Pullman. I could have...
Maybe a
Penny,
little
thank
bit
you.
discrepancy there.
I could have been incorrect at the exact time, but it was fairly quickly later.
So True Greenbeard says, I think he looks totally normal, lonely but normal. My thing is like hindsight's 20/20 in a sense, where you like some guy gets. I mean, if you showed me a picture of Bryan Kohberger, I would probably say what True Greenbeard is saying. Yeah. Lonely, maybe maybe kind of a not a very popular guy, or more of like a nerdy.
He doesn't
type.
Look like somebody I'd be spending my spare time with.
Right. I mean, he's not like someone that looks like he's got a ton of stuff going on, but I wouldn't be like, that looks like a psycho.
But with him being so thin and like sunken eyes, kind of like that, he does kind of look like a drug user. So I would be steering clear of him for that, I suppose.
Bruce said you made him laugh when you called him Bryan. Bryan,
sorry,
the crazy
Bruce.
kiter.
All the bees.
Patricia says, I don't see Bryan waiting around in the house for them to return. Yeah, I think the more I kind of go over that in my head, and especially now with all the new information we've got, I really don't see that either. I think he was in and out. I think the gruesome killing of the third floor, Kaylee and Maddie, was so aggressive that he lost his sheath and probably maybe got buried in, maybe the rooms were dirty and it fell and it just went somewhere and he didn't have time. He didn't want to spend those precious minutes to find it, and so unfortunately he left it there. Well, fortunately for us, for the victims and for everybody that's following this, he left that, and they were able to extract what I understand to be a very small amount of DNA that then linked through genealogy back to his family and to him.
Yeah, his eyes have no soul. I completely agree with you. I have the storm. But that's still just like the whole timeline with the DoorDash is just like mind-blowing to me. With
very, very
like, was
interesting.
there some additional, I don't know, just it's so wild.
Amy says, so if he wasn't in the house before he came in, if he wasn't in the house before, he came in from 4:04 in the morning, leaving at 4:12, killed 4 people, all while DoorDash was delivered. When you spell it out like that, that seems pretty crazy too. So
I'm curious to know the. I mean, did he just slash their throats? Like how? I didn't hear all about the.
Sherry says, I think Zanny and Maddie were his targets. They both worked at the Mad Greek and they had vegan food. Interesting. That's kind of an upper level, higher level thinking there. I like that a lot. Because this. Another thing is like, why are they going out of this? I know it's innocent until proven guilty. So technically we still have to presume his innocence, and you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt that he's guilty. But this whole like, he has to have a strict vegan diet. But it's like I don't know how I feel about that. Like, just you eat what you're given, and when you find yourself in this situation. But let's see. They told the cop about shooting both times. Yeah. So
just weird, just bizarre.
Just so weird to like. Maybe they were just talking about it in the car. It obviously had just happened. So, mass shooting didn't happen. Yeah, I guess I think that's true.
I don't even remember hearing about
think it happened.
that.
I don't think it happened.
Was he talking about the stabbing, the mass stabbing? Pullman? Like, I don't know.
Something might have happened. I actually have been meaning to kind of look into that, but I haven't yet. Josh Height says, you noticed in the pullover, he purposely put the driver's side right next to the lane so the cop would go to his dad. Interesting. That's great observation there. This is really funny. And Linda says he was looking at his dad like, what are you saying? Shut up.
Yeah.
I totally got that vibe too.
Yeah. And then he tries to steer the conversation.
He's going to know about crimes since he's going to school to study crimes. Yeah, I mean, that's another weird angle to this whole thing is this guy's studying criminology. I mean, he's studying this stuff.
It's all just like, I don't know.
Patty says, Bryan was trying to steer the conversation. I totally felt that. When you really listen to that audio, we're going to get Thai food, and his dad's you can tell his dad's like, his dad reminded me of like maybe what my dad would do, just like kind of, oh, here's what we're doing, and we're going to the Poconos. We just came from Washington State. You hear about this crazy thing? I still don't get that, no matter who you are, but whatever. But that's what I got, and then I got this, like, you can see Bryan's like crazy eyes, and he's telling him we're going to get Thai food in the middle of Indiana when really they're driving across country. And I think we titled this thing, Did Bryan Do It? And it's like, he's obviously hiding something. He's obviously acting weird, and there's so many things that don't add up. He's in the area of the crime.
What do people think, though, about...
He did it.
Like, how could all of this evidence be there if he didn't do it? So, like, there's still some people that probably are like, there's other theories out there, which I'm not putting down by any means. It's just like, how is all of this? Was it somebody he was with that did it then? Because his phone ping's there, or did somebody frame him?
Right.
For all of this? I don't know. It doesn't really add up if it's not him.
They should bring the dog in to a lineup with people and see people with Bryan in it to see if his reaction is different. I like that. That's
For
actually
sure.
very
That's
interesting.
a really good idea. I mean, dogs are very clever. They're very switched on to things, some of them, and they might, he might very well start barking at him or...
The name Bryan is never really one that's been on my, list of possible boy names, but I can say for sure now it's not on the list.
I feel bad. I'm sure there are plenty of very great Bryans out there, but I mean, after two of them in a row being Bryan, ugh.
Amy says, give the roommate a break. We never know how we'll respond in a situation like that. That is true.
I agree, Amy. I mean, I literally was just in the street with my nieces and nephew, and one of them got ran over, and almost got ran over. I don't know what I just said. And instead of me, running out to protect her and grab her, I panicked.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I was too far, but I was I couldn't scream at her. I couldn't even get the words out to be like, don't do that. So just some people just don't have that reaction.
Yeah, you're right. No, I mean, it's a good point. You never know what you're going to do in a situation until you're in it. I mean, you got to remember that. And, she's, one of these roommates that lived, they're very lucky, but they're still victims in a sense. And so we don't obviously want to blame them or hyperanalyze what they did, because who knows what's going on in there. I mean, who knows what really happened that night.
But I personally don't
think
everything
really went down.
Fishy with the room.
Pauline says, why did his dad fly to Bryan just to drive back with him? No sense in that. I kind of get this, and I don't get the... I mean, I understand, it's a long drive.
I know a lot of parents that would fly out to drive their son back or their daughter back or whatever.
But at 28... I mean, maybe you just want to spend time with your son, and you're getting older, and he's retired or something, doesn't have anything to do. I don't really know, but...
maybe he did it. Maybe Bryan paid for his flight or something on purpose because he...
It's kind of, like, why would you do that? But I also, on the other hand, I kind of understand, so... Rich says they pulled him over twice just to make him know that, what's up? We are watching you. We know what you did. Who gets let go with a warning on the freeway? I have never been. Who gets pulled over 2 times for tailgating within 10 minutes? I mean, I agree so much with what Rich is saying here, that was definitely a I mean, Bryan his heart must be pounding out of his chest when that happens. I mean,
or
he's gotta
maybe
know.
he's so sick that and twisted in the head that he's
What?
like, oh well,
He
maybe he gets a good rush from all of this.
yeah.
Maybe he's like,
okay.
I don't know. But he just seems so unaffected in the... I mean, I
Well,
don't know how anyone would look, but in
I think
the
he's
courtroom
freaking
and
out.
everything.
In the courtroom, yeah. I think when that's happening, you can see his eyes kind of like looking, and he's kind of telling his dad to shut up.
Clenches his jaw a lot.
Yeah. I think he's like, oh crap, this isn't good. I think he has an unusual look through his eyes, says Summer Breeze. Hit that like button for Allie and Dan, says Breeze Happy.
Thank you.
Thank you for your ideas, Amy. Thank you so much. He was probably a loner, says Margaret. Yeah, I think he definitely was. I think things happened at the scene that he was not expecting. He thought they would be sleeping, didn't expect a fight from anyone. That's a really
I wonder
good point.
if the DoorDash
He probably didn't expect.
threw him off,
Yeah, he probably didn't expect that.
And if he even noticed it. I mean, if he was in the middle
You're in the middle of a brutal murders. Yeah, you might miss that. But that could be something that, like, caught him off guard and he panicked and, like, I don't know, killed two more people.
Maybe that's why he killed
like,
two more people, because maybe he just went in to get Kaylee and Maddie, and then he thought Xana saw him when she got her DoorDash,
Finn says, I have worked with people who have murdered, interesting, and I will note the pattern I have seen is empty eyes that look through you. Wow. That's pretty heavy right there. Patsy says he was fat at one time and now he is totally vegan. Relatives say he would not eat anything cooked in a pot where meat had once been cooked.
I have to say, David, I don't think vegan has anything
No,
to
I
do
don't
with
think
this
so either.
It's just like goes to show his like particular personality, I guess.
Well, it has nothing to. It could be he strictly only eats raw, or he strictly only eats meat.
But I haven't looked at the.
It's the way he does it, not
That is
what he does.
interesting that you said that one of the gals said that the Mad Greek does serve vegan food, because, I mean, a lot of restaurants do, but it's just interesting.
Bruce says his eyes show no soul. It's disturbing, but clinically he isn't well. Fascination with the mind of a criminal.
Yeah.
DoorDash, front door, sliding glass door, back door.
Yeah, he came in through the sliding glass door in the back, and the DoorDash was at the front.
Right.
I get that, but it's still, I don't know, it is kind of a bigger house, but...
I think David's feeling attacked because we've added because he's a vegan.
I don't think it's anything negative about veganism.
No.
It's just like his...
I love eating vegan. I just don't
I think
strictly do it.
vegan is way more flavorful. I wish Dan would eat it more.
Oh. Well.
Weird thing, had his mom change pans to new.
If they had cooked meat. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
that's weird.
That level of obsession with things. It's like that tells me a deeper story. I have, if you eat a certain diet, that's fine. But if you eat a certain diet and you won't even be near something that's not in your diet that was cooked in a pot, that to me, that it's the level to which he takes it, and it's like that kind of could be that could be in anything, it could be that just tells a lot about his personality, I think.
Right.
So
just like how particular somebody is about it.
He gorged one, says Patsy. Her father said it wasn't fast her heart and liver. Wow. I mean, who was the target in this whole thing, and what possessed him to go after that one or two? I think most people are probably thinking along the lines of it was the two girls on the third floor that were the target, or maybe all three girls. But for me, it's like it's either one or both of those girls were targets.
But then why? If he came and saw that house, over the course of I don't know. Can you go back to my list of notes that I made?
I sure can. Let's jump over to Allie made a long list.
A lot of the people who came out about him said that he was like a loner, and he was very, he like kept to himself, but he wanted to sound smart in front of his classmates and stuff like that. And some people said that in recent times he like really tried to make himself heard, things like that. So I wonder if there's any sort of correlation with how his sort of behavior may have changed a bit in that.
Charlene and Jean says, great live chat. This guy is like Ted Bundy in some ways.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
For sure. I mean, he's going after women. I don't know a ton about Ted Bundy, actually, but I have seen that a lot. Yeah, Amy says, making them change out the pans is OCD. I totally
OCD.
agree.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Like, yes.
They said the jail would not buy new pans. See, that's... It's like, yeah, thankfully they aren't going to that degree to accommodate him. He definitely has eyes with no soul, says Linda Heckert. Hello, Linda.
Wait, go up just a little. Oh, that was way too much. That wasn't a little.
Sorry. Shelley says, where is Ann Ferrier? Let's jump over to, let's give everybody a quick look at what's going on. So, guys, here's Ann Ferrier. Look at this little Ann. Piggied. Hi, Pigged. Oh, Pigged. Good girl. Actually, haven't been using a leash with Pig lately. She has this little beeper collar, and she is so well behaved. Whoops. Let's go to Maya Moon and Mom, and then we have Mr. Huck. Guys, we'll give an update. Babe, why don't you give an update on Huck real quick, because I gotta check my phone battery.
Huck is got his staples out and got some x-rays at the vet, and he is doing good. Everything looks well by the vet, so we are happy about that, which is why we left that area. And now he still has to wear the cone because his wound is really still raw looking, so if he licks it, could get dirty and stuff like that. But he will be very much playing and stuff like that soon enough. Cone comes off in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Short walks coming soon, but no running around and jumping, of course.
Okay. They sound like signs of Asperger's.
Could be.
Says Linda. Yeah, I mean, I can totally see that. David Strausser says, I didn't think DoorDash delivered at that hour. Yeah, I didn't think so either. That's crazy.
That's interesting. I guess I haven't been awake up at that hour. I'm just now seeing the commenter who I just swiftly banned for hurting my feelings. Okay, let's jump into chat and see what everyone's thinking. Who is going to expect that someone is going to be up and ordering DoorDash at 4 a.m.? He was probably so blown away that. Oh, I wanted to read Amy's comment about where Xana was.
Okay, let me find it here.
So.
This one? In the affidavit, the roommate also said she heard a male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you."
Yeah, that's not what I was looking for. I know that.
I didn't. I mean, I had heard that, but we haven't even discussed that.
Yeah,
how creepy is that?
So creepy. I'm going to. Okay. Anyway, Amy. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Allie, that is a very important thought about Xana possibly seeing him. She was found between bed and doorway. Okay.
Yeah, like that like she had just come back from retrieving her DoorDash or something like that. So he maybe assumed they were asleep, or who knows, and he went up to kill the girls, or he had to kill them on the way to kill the girls because they were awake when he didn't expect them to be.
Shelley says, I'm anxious to find out motive. Me too. That's exactly how I feel.
Me too.
This could be the trial.
Because what would they say his motive is?
That's a great
Do
question.
they have to have a motive to be
well,
able to?
You assume he has some type of motivation to go commit a murder. You know, that's one of the things they look for, obviously. But yeah, saying I'm going to help you, hearing a male voice saying it's okay, I'm going to help you. I mean,
So, but her, who was he talking to? Because how far was her door or her room? I'm assuming she didn't venture off into the rest of the house, but how far was her room from where she heard that to him? I thought they were on separate floors. I thought she was on separate floors to the girls, so maybe he was saying it to Xana and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the first floor. He's up on the second or third floor doing the crime. So
his motive is he's a psychopath. I agree with that. That's just what it is.
He could just be enthralled by the idea of committing a murder, and that could really be it. You know, he's studying criminology. He's doing all sorts of different things in that field. It's Sherry. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. The motive may be the roommate that had him kill them.
That's David's. So essentially, David's saying the roommate that saw him, or one of the two roommates, had Bryan kill or he was supposed to kill all four of them or some number of them. I mean, it's a big theory. It's a big theory.
It's a really big theory.
And this is like, we're talking about like 20-year-old girls, 21-year-old, these were 20, 21-year-olds. I don't know the age of the roommates, but I mean, I just don't know if I can get behind that theory, David. I like thinking outside the box when it comes to solving and theorizing, but that's just like, that's a ways out there for me. But I would love to hear, I know I've heard a lot of your reasoning, but any main points? I mean, obviously the roommates, I mean, wouldn't it be crazy to hear from the roommate directly? Obviously they're probably said, don't talk to anyone, you're part of the murder trial and stuff, but just to hear it in her own words, like what she saw, what happened, that would just be so interesting. They think he was communicating with BTK, who was a serial killer. Very interesting.
Huh.
It ended up a surprise that Dylan was on the second floor. Now that I totally agree, can get behind. He, if we assume he wasn't there, gosh, there's so many different things I want to say, but if he showed up at 4 a.m. and maybe he's up all night, maybe he's just like, thinking about doing it, and he goes there and he doesn't expect A, DoorDash, B, the boyfriend to be there, Xana's boyfriend, Ethan.
Right.
That's another thing. So, it's a good point. He might not have expected that. Maybe
he was only going there to get one, but because she was in the same bed as the other, he had to get them both, and because Xana saw him getting her, when she was getting her DoorDash, she had to kill him, but then when she went to kill her, he had to kill her, but when he went to go kill her, so it was like a chain reaction, and then he probably would have killed the girl in the doorway if he realized she was there.
Yeah,
That's my...
Amy clarified something here. Dylan's room was on the end of the hallway on the second floor, and Xana's room was on the same hallway but on the other side. On the same floor but on the other side. Okay, that makes sense. So that's where...
So that's how he could have...
they were on the first floor.
She could have heard him.
Her door was at the second level, but she went down to basement. Okay.
She went down to the basement after she saw him, or?
Oh man, maybe her door to her room was on the second floor, but she had to go downstairs to get.
Sarah says the roommate's story sounds totally bogus to me. If I heard my roommate crying, I would have wanted to see what the problem was, for sure. I don't know anyone who wouldn't, unless you were scared or sketched out, if you had heard that there was somebody as well.
They claim they made eye contact.
I read that too.
That's just creepy.
I mean, if she saw bushy eyebrows, that's basically making eye contact, I feel like.
Okay, Amy and Shelley are talking about something. I'm trying to find the article that Ethan had filled out the survey on Reddit.
What?
Oh my gosh. Amy, if you find that, please share it.
Wait, go back up. Go down just a little. Bryan and Kaylee had a one-night stand?
Oh,
Ew, I don't know about
Bryan
that.
and Kaylee had a one-night stand.
Is that true?
I don't think that's a fact, but it's a theory. And in this live stream, you can throw out anything and we'll tell you if we think you're crazy or if we don't know or if we agree or whatever. So, I hope we keep it on subject and with pure intention where we're all trying to kind of share ideas and actually get to a common understanding and learn. But if you have a crazy theory, David's got a theory and it's interesting.
So, okay, if going back to if the roommate had something to do with it, how come she didn't call until noon the next day? The doors were open. It wasn't locked. She could see them. She could go in and see them and know that they were murdered. Did she sleep until noon? Maybe.
Ann Ferrier, Charlene and Jean say, Ann Ferrier, you are a doll. Maya, a sweetheart. Huck, soon to be his best of best.
Thank
Always
you
a
guys.
positive comment
Yes.
from Charlene and Jean. We actually got some photos emailed to us from Charlene and Jean's Christmas family get-together. So that was really nice to see.
Yes, thank you for sending that. It was wonderful.
We love putting faces to names. We're actually going to be meeting up with Sherry, who's a Patreon member, in a couple days.
Just keep going.
Okay, well, just say up or down.
Just leave it for a second and finish your sentence. Sorry.
I mean, I was finished. We're going to be meeting up. We love putting faces to names, so.
Yes.
Now what?
Looking forward to it. No, LA Siren says they met up at a bar. He went home with her and he blew up her phone. She never responded back. Can you tell me where you found that information? That information, and has it been?
So, yeah, I don't know, but that's interesting. But you could totally see creepy Bryan, 28 years old at a bar, happens to see a young, cute girl. Maybe is like, I'm going to talk to her. I feel like I can see how crazy his thoughts would be. Like, I'm going to go get that girl. Like, he maybe is watching a bunch of weird stuff on the internet, whatever. Goes over, talks to her. She's like, yeah. He's like maybe really aggressive because he's got a history of that. Somehow she gives him her number or a fake number or something. And he never hears back from her after that. He's like on a high and then drops to a low. And that sends him over the edge. But I want to know
if that actually happened or if that's a really good speculation, because that's very possible. But I missed it on any of the, articles and stuff that I saw.
Sherry says, we are going to learn so much more once the trial starts. I think they have much more evidence. This is going to be such a huge trial. I really hope cameras are allowed in the courtroom and that we get to learn and really have a firm understanding of, did this guy do it? I don't want there to be any speculation at the end of the trial. I want to really be like, it's obvious. She came face to face with him and didn't call police for 8 hours. That's why people suspect her knowing killer. It's what happened. It's crazy. I really think it's crazy. So I can understand the theories about, why people think what they think about her. Having these different. I just can't imagine myself doing that. Just going back to bed after seeing a creepy person and hearing crying and a male voice saying, "I'm going to help you." I mean, that would intrigue me at the very least. It seems like Xana might have been trying to run. She was found near the doorway. Ethan was found in Xana's bed. Yeah, maybe he attacked Ethan first. Oh my gosh. Just like going over what could have happened in my mind. Even I feel kind of crazy.
It's so horrifying.
It's just so psychotic. If the roommate made eye contact with the evil man, how could she not call 911 or check her roommates?
I agree.
Yeah, I know. Again, hard to speculate what you do in that situation, but man,
they
it just
all,
seems a
it
little
looked
off.
like they were all just like such best friends, and all of their Instagram posts and stuff seemed like everything was pretty hunky-dory, if you ask me, but...
Still hard to believe he had never been in that house. Not a normal layout, 3 levels. How would he know what room the girl was in if he was stalking? Really good point from Sheila. Really good point.
Maybe he went into the wrong room first, in Xana and Ethan's room. Maybe he was after Kaylee, and he went into their room first on accident. They were awake, and he didn't mean for them to be awake.
So Xana orders DoorDash really early in the morning, 4 a.m.-ish, it gets delivered. Ethan was probably passed out. She was probably awake, hungry, wanted... This is my guess. And Ethan was passed out. So, gosh, I don't know. I just don't know. This is just such a crazy case. Watched an interview with Brian Enton. We love Brian Enton. Interviewing BTK killer daughter Carrie Rawson. She was wondering if he was corresponding with her father. Oh, interesting. I didn't see that from Brian Enton.
Yeah. No, she did not go to the basement. It's in the affidavit. Okay.
No, she did not go to the basement. It's in the affidavit. Okay, so her room is on the second floor. DM went to the first floor.
Is that Dylan? DM?
Her room was basement, but the door was on the main floor. The roommate was on Molly, says LA Siren. A lot of different theories coming out of LA Siren tonight. No, she checked the door and locked. No, she closed her door and locked it. I mean, that's just crazy. It's just so crazy. Let's see what David's got.
That's what I read too and understood what David's saying.
One girl was killed, then the second girl was grabbed and killed on top of the other on the third floor. The second floor was where the guy and the girl were killed in the same room. Yeah. Okay. One girl was killed, then the second girl was grabbed and killed on top of her. Yikes. Maybe he never really saw Dylan. She saw him, but he didn't really see her. Maybe he didn't really see her.
That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, that's totally plausible. A lot of people are saying no. I think we're probably talking to LA Siren.
I mean, they could have been on drugs. Who knows?
Sharon says, someone, do not remember who, suggested a group who supports each other. They are celibate, but not by choice. Watching the beautiful people enjoying their lives, he would now be considered a hero by them. I guarantee you there's incel groups out there like that. And that's sickening, but not, in this day and age, probably not out of the question.
Okay, everyone said that isn't confirmed, and I'm going with talking about him going home with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely
Good. I was like, I haven't seen a single thing.
Kaylee was into true crime and probably traveled in some of the same social media circles as Bryan. Could be. Another creepy Bryan, but spelled different, says Euphoric, our UFO friend. He also applied for an internship with law enforcement in September, documents said. Yeah, this guy, man, I don't know what to make of this guy's motivation. What was his... That's going to be really interesting. I'm sure the prosecutor's making a case, making his case around his motivation and what they think with all the facts. Boop, boop, boo, boopity boo, boopity boo. I believe Bryan called Kaylee's phone 27 times and she didn't answer. Well, that would give some motive if that's what happened.
How did he have her number? I thought Kaylee's dad said she didn't know him, but I guess how would he know?
Yeah, when you're in college and you're that age, you're not telling your parents about every guy you meet. I think he's creepy. I think they got the right person. Maybe she was intoxicated. Did they really make eye contact?
Maybe she was intoxicated, but for her to have the exact times of when she saw him and when... Isn't that kind of strange?
True Greenbeard wants a little insight. How much money are you saving living in a van, and do you also have a house? Well, Allie has a house that she built by hand in Washington, but we save a ton of money living in the van.
Yeah.
And that's why we're able to travel around and
just think of how much
things.
Rent or mortgage costs along with all of the utilities. Sorry. Because you already have car insurance, gas. We obviously travel more in a van, so we have more gas. And we have some small expenses that you wouldn't have in a house, but they don't add up to how much, not even a tenth or a 50th of what you might pay in a house.
David says, if that's true that they had sex, then Adam was told everything and the ex-boyfriend is the killer, and the guy they think is probably ran from the house that night before X came in. I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
I just don't see the cops being that far off. Like, that would just be so off from what they're doing right now. I think I think David's thinking outside the box, and that can always be valuable to have when you're going through this type of investigation.
Yeah, I think, Rich, what you've said here is definitely the case. There's more information that they have not told us. There's a ton more. They just needed to put whatever they thought was very necessary for the probable cause. So I think we're going to know a lot more, and I don't think that roommate, there had to have been something else she tried to do, or,
Yep.
I don't know.
Bruce is taking us on a flashback. Let's see what Bruce has got to say. When Helen took you to the ski town where a socialite was attacked, seeing the video of the hoodie guy going into the house beside the car and bushes, remember that? And
then we went to the house and we walked all around the house and we tried to get information, and they still hadn't found the guy. That was creepy. I did not like doing that. That was scary for me to be around and about.
That was a little sketchy.
I didn't feel safe.
I think we were bringing we were bringing light to a crime that was probably an organized type of thing. Like that guy who was killed.
Hired.
He might have been pissing off some of the wrong people in somewhere in the area.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about,
the Homewood homicides.
Yeah, in Tahoe.
But that was a very creepy case, and I'm glad we at least got to tell the story of it. We want to do more of that. We've been talking to some people that know a lot of stuff, and we're trying to find things. If this case had happened at pretty much any other time, we would have made the drive and obviously really prioritized investigating this a lot more. But it was, again, a week after our daughter was born. So
yeah.
But we really do want to be kind of somebody that people can turn to for a different look at this stuff. And I know you guys appreciate all the information you can get because you guys are very plugged in. Amy says, Kaylee's dad made a comment about a connection to his daughter. So that one night stand could be possible. Interesting.
Okay, maybe. But how would he know? Would you call your dad and be like, hey, Dad, I had a one night stand with a guy named Bryan?
I don't know.
I mean, I can't remember exactly where Goncalves are from. Are they from that area? In Idaho? They're from Idaho somewhere. I don't know how far it is. Twin Falls or something? I could be wrong.
I can't quite remember where they're all from. Some are from Oregon or no. Yeah, some are from Oregon. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm speculating. Hit the likes for baby.
For Baby Moon.
Baby Moon, who's actually napping very peacefully. She's had a great nap day today, guys. We are visiting Allie's brother and his family in Phoenix. We're going to be here for a few more days. And then we're heading to Baja.
If you were with us have you been with us for a year, you saw them and met them in some vlogs last Christmas in Baja.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess the one thing that is still confusing to me is how they talk about Adam and then they made all those phone calls to Jack and
that's what David's saying. This could be why the girls kept calling X, because he got mad after hearing from Adam. Yeah, it's like that to me sounds like the typical college drama, but that doesn't usually end in a quadruple murder, or almost never does.
Right.
So that's why I'm having a hard time going there now. When on the other hand we have this like creepy guy who has had a past where he's, I mean, there's been a lot of reports from friends and stuff about his mannerisms and his personality, and then he's pinged at the location. The girl saw him, and she must have been able to make out some things. Like Amy said, he had bushy eyebrows. She was able to make that out. Let's see what Amy says here. I actually pathed out how I thought he may have done it on his own, and I was close on my thought prior to this new info. Oh, interesting. That doesn't surprise me, actually. He looks too much of a narcissist to plead guilty. Probably very true.
Yeah.
The authorities in the affidavit have, for probable cause, state his phone was pinged, over a dozen times in the past few months in the wee hours of the morning.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's so weird.
Hours. So this guy's probably got a
They did
really
let a
crazy
camera
sleep schedule
in for the hearing the other day, so hopefully they will let them in for the trial. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Bottom of page 4. The male walked toward the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene.
Interesting. The male walked toward the back sliding glass door.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's what I would do immediately as well, but then I would call 911 immediately after locking my door.
Would you? I mean, you think you would if you saw... Yeah, I mean, a creepy male, yeah.
With a covered face
With a
leaving my
mask on?
house, and I heard my roommate say, and I heard something weird being said to my roommate? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really strange timeline for me. Why didn't that happen? That's a really strange non-occurrence. He doesn't know any girls that will talk to him. Probably true. I was very confused about the whole thing until the document came out.
Yeah, but now we just want more.
It's craze, says Larry Mack. Lots of theories. Smash that like.
Thank you, Larry.
Shelly says, I hope cameras are allowed too. However, in another big Idaho case, they won't allow cameras. The doomsday couple. Oh, that's a bummer. I mean, whatever they got to do to convict this guy, I guess. If he's whatever they got to do to find and get the conviction for the families. And if we don't have cameras in there, so be it. Someone said may not happen until 2024. Gosh. I mean, with the criminal justice system and the court system, who knows? I mean, it seems like big stuff does take a long time. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't want it to lose steam because I really think, the pressure on this guy needs to be high and this case needs to be solved.
And these poor families deserve justice as soon as possible.
Yeah. Face to face, says Penny. Shock factor. Could be some level of shock there.
Mm-hmm.
Amy says, I was back and forth on 1 or 2 killers. Interesting. I think Amy said she settled on 1 now, but very interesting to think about possible second killer.
Yeah, Carrie, I read that.
Did y'all hear about when he spoke to people, he would do it in a very complicated way to show them how smart he was? Yeah, I did read that. That's just so weird, I mean, it's like, let's go and look at some footage, actually, of Bryan.
What would Allie do?
So here he is walking into the courtroom. I mean, he just looks comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, he just...
Imagine defending him.
Yeah, imagine being the blonde woman who's, like, face-to-face with this guy, He just doesn't look like he's concerned. Certainly doesn't look like he's remorseful. He just seems... He definitely looks younger than he does he looks younger in the videos than I thought he did in the pictures. He really does look like a 28-year-old guy right there. I mean, that's a calm guy. But, everyone's different. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what to make of it.
What would Allie do if that was her? He watched for months, according to his phone.
What would Allie do if that was her? He watched for months, according to his phone. I mean, hard to say what you'd do. You'd hopefully never have to find out. Bruce says students even called him out on his tough marks on assignments. Also, after murder, every student got A's on everything they handed in.
Yeah, I read something like that too. I mean, he was just feeling generous afterwards.
This guy was a nut bar, says Bruce. I think he watched from wrist area behind the house, from waist area behind the house. The movie his sister was in, the killer watched his victims from Wowed. I think Amy made us spell it. Wooded area. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. God, his sister was in a movie like that. This is just another crazy
so
thing.
Creepy.
I believe he had been in the house. It's been said it was a party house. Also, the students of both universities often partied together. Yeah, I definitely knew that about... Let's see. Batcactus saying, stop saying she saw him leave. Page 4. The male walked toward the back sliding glass door. Investigators believe... Okay, so if I've said that, She didn't see him leave. She just saw him walk towards the back door.
Believe that the murderer left the scene.
So she didn't see him leave. I mean, that's good to clarify that. Thank you.
Yes. No, it is good because He could have had plenty more time. Well, maybe
sorry, you read it.
Maybe Bryan Guy moved close to that area because of the girl and him were dating long distance. After all, they were friends on Facebook, so the girls must have known him and maybe a relationship existed.
I feel like these girls were probably decently popular, you know. I feel like that would have to come. You can't just like hide all that. Thank you, Deva. Glad that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon, as usual. Dylan was on the second floor. Read the affidavit. Yeah, okay. We can say with confidence Dylan was on the second floor and she did not see the killer leave, but that she saw him walk toward the back door, which led them to think he left. Diana has a good comment here. I don't think he saw her. I would love to hear her in her own words what she saw that night. That would just be so powerful to hear. People are saying the roommate who saw him is the person who passed out, and why 911 was called, saying someone is unconscious rather than the victim at first. I believe that.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So who called then?
Well, and remember a neighbor called or helped call or something like that. I can't.
Yeah, I wasn't clear on the call.
Yeah, Patty has a good comment here. We haven't heard much about Bethany, the other roommate.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder
the call
what...
was made from inside the house. Did Bethany make the call?
I think it was made from like the backyard or something, right? But I don't know exactly. That's a good point. Let's see what Amy's got. I think he was watching them from the wooded area to get the idea of the house. I see it. She's clarifying her comment. So the theory of them being asleep is not necessarily true. Yeah, we know Xana ordered DoorDash, which at 4 a.m. means she was awake. Definitely an incel. I must agree with that. Bruce with a good comment. Once he is convicted, will he tell all?
Shoot.
What do you think? I'm sure he'll go for an appeal and all this BS.
Yeah, who knows?
That's the first time I've ever heard of incel, says Diana.
Me too. Dan had to explain it to me.
Where's the chubby dogs? Well, my terrier's right at my feet, but I turned off Moon Cam because I needed to charge my phone so we didn't run out of battery. Okay, well, we've gone for a while here. Let's see what we got. We'll go through a few more. I'm going to catch all the way up with you guys.
Maybe he went in at one of their parties one of those nights that he was in he could get a lay of the
land.
Figure out the inside, figure out what he was looking at, watching, and maybe he was going to do it one of those other nights.
Call was made from Dylan's phone by one of the friends she called over. The fact they used Dylan's phone makes me more convinced she didn't have it in her room. Yeah, that's really a good, actually, a pretty decent...
They used Dylan's phone...
Yeah.
To
call, but Amy...
Dylan wasn't there.
No, Dylan was there, but she was the one that passed out the next morning when they called the police. But she called a friend over. Again,
who called a friend over?
Dylan. And then
friend passed out?
Yeah, I guess. Guys, we got to shout out Amy Sunclay.
That's
super
awesome.
Chat of the night with another $50 Cash App super chat. Thank you. And I must say, Amy Sunclade's joining us on the live stream. Absolutely fantastic to hear things from her perspective. We know how plugged in she is. So thank you so much for your support, Amy. Really
thank you,
tremendous.
Amy, for always being here and for joining us tonight.
Okay, let's see. She passes out, wakes up, and says, "Boy, am I hungry, DoorDash." That's not a crazy theory that maybe Xana fell asleep and then woke up at 3:30 or whatever time and decided to get DoorDash.
Well, I thought that they got home at like 1:45.
Jill Fisher says, "Did I miss you guys live? We are currently live, Jill. You are here with us live.
But you did miss the first hour and 39 minutes."
DNA is from his dad's trash to check for matching Y that goes generation to generation.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Interesting.
They checked his dad's trash.
Yeah, because I don't know where the genealogy plays in, but and maybe you guys can confirm, but some people on the internet were saying it's kind of creepy that, obviously if you commit a crime like this, whatever it takes to get caught is what most people are going to support. But it is kind of creepy if the government or law enforcement or whoever, the powers that be, can, if you do a 23andMe, can look at that and pin you for things or whatever, do stuff with that data that you if you were just, I want to find out my heritage or my ancestry, and you do that. I know a lot of people are like that, that kind of opened their eyes to some stuff with this case specifically, because I think it's either believed or it is fact that Bryan they used genealogy like a 23andMe to actually hone in on him.
Huh.
Whoa, and then Jill Fisher finds out we're live and drops a $50 super chat like it ain't no thing right into the live stream. So thank you, Jill. Let's give her some horns and a sound effect. We really appreciate that. Her phone was in another room, says Sherry. Ooh, Diana says, I'm a genealogist. If you could clarify what I just talked about, I'd appreciate that. But any information you have on genealogy, we would love to hear it. His dad's DNA was in system.
What did he do to warrant?
Oh, a DNA capture. Good question. His dad's DNA was in the system. What did he do? Molly Klum, our Portland, Oregon friend, 1999 super chat. That's a sound effect. That's a double sound effect. She says, Happy New Year's. Was he still in town when the candlelit vigil was held? I think he thinks he was too smart to get caught. Great question. Was he at the candlelit vigil, which was December 2nd? Whoops.
No, I'm
okay. December 1st or something like that. I think it was December 1st or November 30th. So great comment from Molly, who is the owner of a fantastic brand of
Mountain
Mama products, who we have a bar of soap that I'm waiting to get into when we get to Mexico, a second bar of soap. But what a fantastic comment attached to a super chat. Very, very interesting. Unfortunately, we've told you guys this about 9 times, but we couldn't make it out there because we had 2 appointments for Maya. But we were going to go to that vigil on the 30th. And Amy's saying he left on December 9th, so he was definitely around. So was he at the vigil? Here.
Oh, whatever.
Which one is it?
I can't read. I have to pee so bad I can't read the comments. This is why I keep trying to put her down to get her off of my bladder.
Oh, goodness.
No, somebody said something of that. Thank you. Yeah, I want to know what was in those. Does anyone know what was in the garbage bags? I haven't seen anything on what was in them or what could have been found. I guess I'm just assuming clothing or anything with blood on it.
Oh my gosh, 1999 super sticker. That's number 2 for Shelly tonight, and Farrier super fan, I must say. Pear character. Okay, we love pears. So pear character dancing under a rain of confetti and taking his hat off to say you're amazing.
Well, thank you, Shelly. We think you're amazing.
Thank you for your super chats tonight, Shelly. Very, very nice to see you here. We've had a barrage of super chats. I think Bruce asked us a quick question about Baja. Moon will be doing time in Baja, Mexico. That is true. Bruce actually left a comment on one of our videos about stuff that's going on in Mexico, although I believe, while the cartel is in the whole country, I believe it's more on Sinaloa, on the mainland, where they're having kind of some issues with the government versus cartel situation.
Investigators are watching him up just a touch.
Joel, Patreon
Hi,
member.
Joel. Investigators
Super
that were
Van
watching
Fammer.
him for days say they saw him clean the white Elantra thoroughly, and he dumped the garbage in the neighbor's trash bin, not his own trash bin, in the middle of the night, right? Or in the middle of the morning.
Great
early
comment
morning.
from Joel. Not really thinking too much of Bryan's smarts at this point, because he was being watched by investigators.
But he must have not thought he was being watched.
Clearly. And tried to be sneaky and throw his garbage into neighbors, and they just went and got it. Okay, here's Sherry. She's clarifying what I was talking about. It was not 23andMe. They do not share. They had his DNA, but he was not in the CODIS criminal database. They got it from his dad. Okay, so I was wrong. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that clarification. Linda is sorry for your bladder situation. So very sweet of Linda to pay homage to that.
Thank you.
Not so much. I like being here with the Van Fam, so
I know,
we're not cutting this thing short
I'm
just
sorry.
so your bladder can have a little bit of relief. Let's see here. What else do we got? Allie, go potty. We will wait, says Amy.
Well, if I set Maya down, then she's going to cry, and I have to jump over Dan and all these wires. So
much.
it's almost 8. I'm thinking, are we going to go till 8 or?
Yeah, we'll go for a little, few more minutes just to give Allie a little. So let's get your last few. If you got.
Wait, go all the way down a second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think too. And how did he get into his car and there not be a speck of blood in his car?
So true. Great comment
He must
from
have
Rebecca.
cleaned it again, or cleaned it previously, maybe just briefly. He had to have taken his clothes off and thrown them away
Where are
somewhere.
those? Where is that stuff, And did he have enough time, I'm sure he did, to burn it and get rid of the murder weapon between when the cops started looking at him and when the crime was committed? I'd say probably he did. So what happened to all that stuff? Is it totally gone? Do the cops have something?
Maybe they have it.
Maybe it was in the trash.
But they used
Maybe he was so
they said
dumb.
they used the sheath. That's where they got the
Right,
DNA.
I know about
from
that.
him.
Which matched to his dad. Now that they have him in custody, it's Charlene and Jean. Stop presses. It's Charlene and Jean. $50 super chat. Double thumbs up, Allie and Dan. Charlene and Jean from Vancouver Island. Beautiful Vancouver
Thank you
Island.
too, very, very much.
I kind of miss the Pacific Northwest in this time of year because I don't like it for prolonged periods, hence why I'm not there. But we were in Southern California recently, and there was a huge rainstorm because of the cyclone bomb. And it just reminded me, although the temperatures were much nicer, of a really gray, gloomy, dark gray, full day where there's a lot of rain. I just love that.
I don't.
And I especially love it in like a place where there's a lot of trees like Vancouver Island or the Oregon coast.
1 second. So thank you very much, Charlene and Jean, for that. The only thing I miss about the Pacific Northwest is the snow in the mountains.
Which, you want me to go up?
Finn, no.
Yeah.
His phone was pinged in a remote location. Where? When? What do you mean? For what? I need to know more about that.
You've caught Allie's attention so much so she tried to get in on the keyboard here, but you don't get in on keyboard. I do keyboard. Sorry. That's so true from Shelley. Katie Kidman saying, do you think the dad was involved? No way.
That's interesting. I don't.
No way, just because of his demeanor when the cops pulled him
very
over. He was
clueless
just
and very
chatty Cathy. He drove around from 4:12 to 9:07 a.m., going back and forth between Pullman and the house. He had plenty of area to get rid of evidence. Really a strong comment from Amy that I hadn't put together yet.
Remember their entire page redacted of information?
Yep.
For sure. Will we ever get to see that once the case is...
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I was hoping there wasn't a ton of redactions in the affidavit. I know mostly I was pretty happy.
They gave us quite a bit,
yeah, I was
feel
pretty
like.
Happy. Be careful. California is flooding. Well, we are in Phoenix now, so we are away from the cyclone bomb. But yeah, there's some crazy weather, especially Northern California. Crazy weather.
Yeah, my sister and brother-in-law in Santa Cruz they're fine, but they are tons of water.
What do you think of this comment from Amy? I think his dad knew what he did, and it's the reason he flew him to drive back. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I
think his dad just drove back with him.
Although
just because I don't think it's...
We don't really know his dad. So I'm looking at it through the lens of like, oh, he looked like a chatty Cathy. He kind of was just like happy to talk about the cops. But he also was the one that brought up the Washington State SWAT thing. So, maybe he's like, oh, we're from Washington State, but we didn't murder any college students. Did you hear about the SWAT? Maybe, I don't know. My gut tells me, well, I don't know. Maybe he did know. Maybe Bryan confided in his dad as like, I'm in trouble. Will you come out here? Would you do that though? Would you fly out and drive your kid home after brutally murdering 4 people? I feel like
I would want nothing to do with it. I'd be like, call the cops and tell them.
You'd have to. The best thing you can do for your kid there is like turn them in. Really, you can't. You're not going to get away with it, dude. And then you put yourself as an accomplice, basically, if you know and it's proved that you know. Okay, Sherry says, where is Maya Moon traveling with her new passport? Well, she's going to Mexico in a week. And
you'll see later
and so
on.
That's...
Where else?
That's... Maybe. Yeah, maybe some other places. Wink, wink. Honk, honk.
I bet he threw it away, but he was on video surveillance doing it. They have everything.
Oh, interesting. I bet he threw it away, but he was on video doing it. Very interesting. I don't think the dad knows anything from Shelley Fitzgerald. They redacted the info, but had a map of the drive he made. Okay. Dad's trip was pre-planned to be there for the drive. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Maybe he was trying to do it at a certain time before.
Crystal made a good comment.
What's that?
The redacted info is part of about the autopsies, which that makes sense why that would be kind of redacted. But yeah, we're going to learn a lot of stuff in the trial about how gruesome these murders were. And Night Margaret, thank you for being here. Guys, we're going to finish up here in a few minutes and let Allie go use the bathroom. The Santa Cruz Wharf broke in half. I'm from San Jose now in Vegas. Yeah, we saw that. Some crazy videos.
It's crazy. Thank you. I will finish my water as soon as I go to the bathroom.
Great comment from Beck about that was organized a fair while before. So, his dad came across the same as his son, a nutcase. Very interesting to think about what maybe the dad knew going into that drive. You'd have to know your son was acting a little differently if he just murdered 4. You'd think he was at least.
Yeah, but maybe he was stressed out from finals or something. Look, it's Nursey.
Nursey. Haven't seen her in the comments in a while. Welcome. Very appreciated to see you here. Okay, let's. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and see where you guys are at, and then we're going to sign off. Great live stream tonight. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. Great to have our guest Amy join us.
Yes, thank you so much, Amy, for joining us. Thank you,
fun.
Everybody, for your chats and your input on all of this. We are your theories and your thoughts, and we're all combined.
I think
Very,
we'll do
very clever thoughts.
We'll do some call-ins here and there.
On the 12th,
different topics at hand.
Something happens on the 12th. I wrote it down. There's some sort of thing happening on the 12th, so maybe we should do another one then.
Oh, there's something happening on the 12th.
Check my notes.
Going to Allie's notes right now.
Something is due back. I don't know.
Well,
I was typing really fast.
He was due back to school at January 12th.
I thought we were supposed to have some sort of something on June 12th. Sorry. So anyway, we'll look into it. We'll be back when there's some more information that we can dive into and investigate ourselves.
Carrie says, nice to see you, Amy. His dad didn't know anything from Joel. When they pulled him over, you can clearly see Brian's face when his dad is telling the cops too much info. That's exactly what I felt like, too. Hit the like button for Maya from Lori. Thank you, Lori. Glory, great to have you here.
Thank you, Wanda. This is a terribly tragic event, and prayers to all of their families. I cannot even begin to imagine what their friends and classmates and families and boyfriend going through. Just crazy.
Thank you for being here, Carrie. Great seeing all three of you. Love all the chatting. Have a great night, everyone. David Strausser, have a great night, Van Fam community. Hugs to you all, especially Huckleberry, who's on the mend. Last little comment from Amy here. There was a report that his dad purchased ticket on November 29th, which is the same day Washington State notified cops of the Elantra and Pennsylvania plates. Okay, that's conflicting with what I've heard from other people in the chat, but we'll note that. Very interesting stuff. I think there's a lot of questions we need to answer here. Sharks in Mexico, no swimming in with the sharks, just kiting. Yeah, that's the idea. Oh, his arraignment is on the 12th.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I knew it was something.
He's due back in court on the 12th.
Yes.
Okay. Great content. Loved it. Thank you, Finn. Appreciate that.
Yes, thanks for being here, Finn.
Okay, guys, we appreciate it. We're going to let Allie go use the bathroom, and we will see you guys again very soon. We'll probably get a Sunday Night Live in soon where we are a little more casual with the conversation. And we'll keep you guys...
Maybe a little more light.
A little more light conversation.
This is heavy. I have to now do something else before I go to bed, or like watch a funny TV show or something before I go to bed, or I don't sleep well.
Amy said this was the best live ever other than Maya Moon's first live. Well, that feels great to hear. That feels really good to hear. Okay, guys. A lot of good comments still, but we're going to sign off and see you guys real soon. Good night.